Welcome to the Concast, Comic-Con Africa's official podcast. Well, Kat, thank you so much for your time. I'm going to just introduce everybody in the room. Firstly, hello everybody, my name is Kelvin. I'm joined by Robbie at CCA HQ. Say hi, Robbie.
Hello.
Hello. And then Cat Kirameki. Is that
Kirameki.
Kirameki. Shit.
Kirameki.
Yeah, we even practiced. Kirameki on Zoom. Hi, Kat. How you doing?
Hey, I'm doing well, thank you. Hope you guys are well too.
Just want to interrupt the podcast to tell you that Tokidoki South Africa is running an exclusive special for all Comic-Con Africa fans. From now until the 7th of May, you can get 25% off your purchase using the code CCA_TKDK. Shop using this unique code and you could stand a chance to win a Tokidoki hamper valued at 2,500 Rand. See the link in the description to shop now. Back to the podcast. All's good.
All's good in the world.
So we were just literally talking about how I'm terrible at names and that I can't get names correct.
And on the launch, he fails epically. I love it so much.
God. But let's focus on the now, focus on the present. Kat.
Leave the failure
behind. Kat, we're chatting about all things cosplay today. This is super exciting, but much like my ability for names, I am not clued up on cosplay. So, real talk, not like for the Concast, I'm going to pretend not to know anything about cosplay. I'm blind here. So,
legit know nothing.
So I'm really going to need your help. And I think I want to kind of approach this as like the beginner's guide to cosplay. So firstly, tell me about what you kind of reckon cosplay is. Is there misconceptions, or is it like very easily understood?
I mean, I think a lot of people tend to confuse cosplay with like just, I guess, fancy dress. And to me, it's a bit, it's a lot more than that. You people really want to like embody the character. It's essentially like, a physical expression like of fan art in a way, but it's like you wear it instead of, doing a drawing of your favorite character or something. You become your favorite character. And there are people doing amazing things out there with costumes. There are, world championships and things for this type of thing as well. It's not as casual as fancy dress. I mean, it can be very casual, especially when you're starting out, but the level it can kind of get to is just like way past that. And I think a lot of people kind of mistake it for just like a casual fancy dress or dress up. Like you'll see, well, I mean, I guess you wouldn't, but cosplayers know that around like Halloween time, you always just get like random people popping out of the woodwork being like, can I borrow a costume, please? Like, and then,
But I could imagine that is frustrating, because the bit of cosplay that I have seen, as much as I'm a bit of a rookie to it, I'm not oblivious to the fact that it's actually like quite an art. You know what I mean? It's not just like, oh, I'll slap on this and I'll do that and whatever. So is that like a taboo?
Do yourself a favor if you ever whenever we have cons again, walk up to the first cosplayer you see and be like, how many hours?
Yeah.
And watch them break down and cry.
Yeah.
And it's not as easy as just like, yo, I just got this out of my cupboard, or yo, I just bought this online. Ask them how many hours, and you will see like Vietnam flashbacks flashing in eyes. No.
So Kat, like, is Halloween like a kind of experience for cosplayers, or is it like a, hey, welcome in?
Do you even enjoy it anymore?
Yeah.
Like, cosplay is every day.
I will say that, like, because, well, obviously, with the pandemic and everything, we haven't really had cons and that type of thing. So we haven't really had any opportunities to dress up and go out to cons and do that type of thing. But I think most cosplayers kind of view Halloween as like their casual night, or their like night off, where they can actually just wear something a bit more simple and a bit more comfortable and just like chilled out instead of like going all out. I mean, I still love Halloween. It's like my favorite, I guess, like holiday. It's just like really fun, but I do kind of, take it a bit more casual around Halloween. And and save all the crazy stuff for cons and shoots and that type of thing.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, I can't speak to like all cosplayers, but I mean, that's kind of the general sort of consensus I've gotten from the people I know.
Yeah. Like Robbie said, that's really ironic that on the night where
You can flash, you don't.
yeah, but it's like on the night where everybody is like, tonight we're getting dressed up, we're going out, we're doing this crazy thing, and the cosplayers are like, oh, thank God it's a night off. Like,
The irony is spectacular. Like everyone, like my costume is better than yours. Like, oh no, my costume. Halloween, where they actually rate, like the general public rates costumes.
Yes.
Cosplayers are like,
yeah.
no effort. When like their previous build probably could outrank everyone else there, and it's just like I didn't feel.
Oh
like
my
it.
gosh, like on that note though, there was like a random, it was actually like there was a con weekend, it was like fan con, like I think it was the first fan con that happened in Cape Town. And that night they just so happened to have like a random sort of like fancy dress costume competition at like a local like club. So what I did was like I got home from the con, napped for like an hour, just got back into my costume again, and then just like ventured out. And yeah, I ended up like winning, which was pretty awesome because like it was like a cash prize, so I wasn't even mad. But like it was hilarious. I had these like prop guns that kind of like looked like candles, and they were kind of, the lights were sort of controlled with a remote, so you could change color like with the remote. And the funny thing was I would just be like standing there chatting to someone, and like my significant other would be sitting there in the back with the remote watching some drunk person like staring at my candles. Some guy was like blowing on them at some point, and then he would like switch the color every time this guy blew on it, and he was just like, oh my gosh, I have no idea
Magic.
what's happening right now.
Magic guns.
That is brilliant.
I love that. That's freaking fantastic. Oh my god.
Now, one thing that you mentioned a little bit earlier, which has piqued my interest, is you said that like cosplay, because cosplay, again, with my rookie knowledge, I know that cosplay stands for costume play, but you quite rightly mentioned that it's not just to do with the costume, it's also about becoming the character.
Well, that's where the play part comes in of the costume play.
No way! This is like a very daft moment. I thought that was like, we're gonna
Wait,
play around with
please
costumes.
tell me you're just like, listen, we've established this is not supposed to be a structured thing. Please tell me that was just a bit and you actually knew that. Please tell me that was a bit.
If it were, I'm genuine, guys, genuinely.
No, come on, man. Even I don't know cosplay, but even I know that much.
I thought it was like, because I didn't realize it was like in the theatrical sense.
What did you think the play
I
was?
thought it was like, because you play with the costumes.
Who plays with their costumes? Have you tried swinging
sit
a
there
cosplay
like-
katana? You're gonna break it.
There we go. You see cats doing cosplay. This is great.
I've lost faith in Calvin as a CCM member.
You'll find that most like competitions do have kind of like a skit division as well. So that's
yeah,
where
but-
that part of it like comes into a lot, is like where, you know, maybe people aren't as confident in their construction of their costumes, but they love, you know, the kind of
Persona.
yeah, the theatric side of it, and then they into the skit competitions instead. So that is a big part of it as well.
I'm highly disappointed in you, Calvin.
I'm highly disappointed in myself. But let's casually move on. Try and save it.
Casually.
Kat, who have you put your cosplay on for us? Again, absolute rookie over here. Talk us through the process for your cosplay tonight.
Okay, so this was actually what I wore to the last Comic-Con Africa we had. I wore it on the first day, yeah. So I don't know if you guys are familiar with anime at all.
This guy.
But like, okay, yeah. Even if you like know nothing about anime, I'm sure you've heard the name My Hero Academia like floating around somewhere.
Are you a weird Ochako right now?
Well, weird. I don't know about that, but it is like it's an original design.
I was just about to say, like, I've never seen her in that in the show or in the manga, so this must be like a custom
Yeah,
outfit.
it's kind of like the colors and stuff are based off of her like hero outfit, but it is kind of like a more kimono-y type of outfit. It's based on the Walolita style, which is kind of like a Japanese fashion style it's like a subsection of Lolita that kind of like focuses more on the traditional silhouettes and like kimono type silhouettes and that type of thing. So it's kind of like a Lolita version of Uraraka that a friend of mine actually designed. And she's really talented at sketching and stuff, and she did like a gender bent bakugo in the same style.
Beautiful.
That we wore together, yeah. So I don't know, like you can kind of like see that it's.
Jeez,
Yeah.
Kat, that is awesome.
You can't really see like the skirt part of it, but like there are many skirts happening as well. Yeah, so it is an original design of an outfit for her. It's not one of the canon ones, but yeah, it's just something
The hair gave it away. The minute she was like, have you seen my hair? I was like, and then I saw the hair and I was like, oh no, wait, hold on.
Also got like the weird tiny little like eyebrows.
For oddly enough, that I didn't pick up on that. It was more the hair, like because she has a very like very defined hair shape. Head shape, hair shape. I don't know. With anime, it could be both. The hair is the head.
but that's one thing that I really appreciate about cosplay. And again, I have no shame in referring to it as an art form and actually advocating that it is a
100%.
form of art, because there are so many details. And like you said, I think that the cosplay community as a whole, I think you're actually like a great example right now where we've stepped into this virtual realm and we're doing a digital podcast recording, but you've still gone all the way out to the extent that the details are perfected. I think that's really, really cool. Is that like I guess what I'm leaning to at its core is that nature or nurture? Do you think that innately some people kind of just have that attention to detail and naturally by that they do well at cosplay? Or do you think it's very much a taught skill? What do you guys reckon?
I mean, like, I think it's a little bit of both, really. Like, some people kind of have that natural attention to detail, and then, like, other people, like, the more costumes they make and the more they, like, work on stuff and learn new techniques, that kind of develops over time as well. Although, if you are working towards, like, a crazy deadline for a con and you haven't slept
Crunch.
and things are going a bit crazy, kind of then people sort of go like, it's good enough. I'll add that in next time, or obviously unless it's like a competition, in which case you'll be judged on that type of thing. But con crunch is real, and that sometimes you have to sacrifice certain details for that. But I mean, if you are one of those people who budgets your time correctly, then then you have more time to spend on that type of thing. I'm not one of those people. I'm one of those people who will be working and sleep 3 hours and then just like get into cosplay and like head to the con. But yeah, then again, I haven't like really entered a competition for quite a long time because it's brutal out there.
Yeah. Well, Kat, I want to kind of speak through the process of like getting into cosplay. Not necessarily getting into cosplay, but physically getting into your
How to make a cosplay.
What is it? Because I've kind of come up with a process, and again, we've seen the extent of my skill tonight, so I'm not going to embarrass myself too much. But I was kind of thinking that the first step would naturally be to get inspired. Is that kind of where it starts, or am I missing something where you look at a character and you say...
You have no idea. I'm like also one of those people who just like every time I watch a new show, I'm like, yes, I want to cosplay like all of these characters. And then I just have this never ending list of characters that I want to cosplay at some point. And I mean, very few of those actually, make it to the actual cosplay stage. And then there are like a bunch where I think I don't even want to think about how many like unfinished costumes I have. Like,
oh, yeah?
Where you just get like super inspired and like excited. And then you just like go and start making something. And then you get distracted by like another new design, or like, you kind of like run out of steam and then you're like, I'll finish it another time. Like most cosplayers I know have at just, a pile dedicated to unfinished cosplays. Like it's very often as well that there's like kind of hype surrounding a show or something, and then you kind of like jump on that hype train, and then you want to make something, or you start making something, and then the hype dies down, and then you're like, maybe I want to do something else. Yeah, it's a really bad habit a lot of us have.
I think we need to make a note of this. Because not on cosplay, whatsoever. But with D&D, it's the same thing. Like I see a show and I'm like, yo, I could make a campaign out of this, or I could make a character, D&D character I could do with this build, or I can homebrew something. We need to make a mental note for everyone to ask them if they have this exact same problem. Especially if it's like a creative thing, like cosplay where you can make whatever you want, D&D where you can build whatever you want, miniatures where you can make whatever you want. Like, does everyone do this? Because when Kat was talking, I was just like, yo, this is me with D&D. I have a full folder. I have a folder and everything.
That's really interesting, Kat, because I wouldn't have thought that projects would go unfinished. Look, I never doubted that.
Hey, not everything can be built.
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing.
Money is expensive.
Again, this is really not my brightest moment. Sorry, Kat, you're meeting me under the dimmest of circumstances. But it makes sense that a project would perhaps morph and change as it goes. But I really playing open cards over here. Don't know much. Genuinely trying to figure some stuff out. Having a good time while learning. Thank you, Kat.
I mean, I imagine you get quite bored, like, every now and then. Like, you're building something and then you're like, yeah, I'm not feeling it today. You switch over to something else. I imagine that happens every now and then.
I mean, like, I have the exact same thing with, like, board games as well. I'm, like, an avid, like, board gamer, like, tabletop game as well, where you will just, like, buy a new game, get, like, really excited about it, and then you'll be like, but I need to read the rules, so maybe I'll get to that at some point. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I have like a bunch of unplayed board games as well, just because I hate reading rules. Like, sometimes it gets so bad to the point that I like just pass it off to like a friend and be like, you read the rules and you figure it out, and then we'll like play it. But yeah, like,
I don't blame you. No one knows the actual rules of Monopoly.
That's true.
Not everything does what it thinks you does. Free parking does not work the way you think it functions.
I feel like Kat is about to whip out something and be like, well, those are... Prior to what I've said, I've actually read those rules, and you're so wrong, Robbie. Please tell me that you're going to say
no,
that.
People that actually play it.
I mean, like, I don't think I've played Monopoly since I was like a kid, so I can't really say. I've just like heard these sort of like rumors about things that are true or aren't true, and yeah, I mean, when you have like so many awesome like tabletop games to explore, like Monopoly's kind of just not really priority.
Yes, I guess. But it's like Uno. There is some intense competition over there.
You cannot stack +4s.
Well, there was that, and then they even tweeted about it, and people were like, it's fine, you've made the game, go back to bed, it's fine.
You've made the bed, the rules are now ours, go away.
Exactly. Then they were also saying, like, you can't finish on a power card, like a +4 or +2, or switch
or skip or something, I also heard that BS, and I was like, nah, hold on, wait a minute. I've won a lot of games like that.
But alas, we continue on our beginner's cosplay guide, Kat.
Back on topic.
You mentioned something about a friend designing that cosplay that you're wearing for you.
Yeah.
Is that common? Is it like singer-songwriter vibes, right? Like you get Sia, who is an amazing songwriter and kind of dabbled into singing for a couple albums, but then she like was really good at songwriting. Is that common? Like a common analogy in the cosplay where people are good designers but not necessarily good creators?
I mean, look, I know that there are, a lot of people out there who specifically do like art commissions for cosplay designs.
Whoa.
So that is something that is quite common. But I mean, with this particular costume, I think it was literally just like my friend was just like sketching out some things because she was feeling inspired. And she was like, she just like sent them over. She's like, like I kind of sketched these out, like inspired by, different like My Hero Academia characters. So she did one for Bakugo, she did one for Uraraka, and she did one for Todoroki, which was actually, I was originally going to do like the Todoroki one as like a gender bend kind of vibe. But then I settled on Uraraka. So she kind of just like sketched those out. And then I was like, hey, wouldn't it be cool if we made these and did like a duo cosplay of them at Comic-Con? And she was on board, and it kind of just went from there. Yeah, I mean, I actually met her through cosplay because she's also a cosplay photographer. So the first time I met her, she was actually shooting this like League of Legends inspired kind of like sexy cosplay calendar.
Okay, never mind. Hold on, wait a minute. That took a turn.
So we like randomly started chatting, and the first time I met her, I was just like, when I like went over to her house, and was just like, okay, well, I am in this like lingerie version of like Sona from League of Legends now. Please take photos. So that was kind of like how we met, and then we ended up just like hanging out for the whole day into the evening, and we just got along really well, and we've stayed like really, really good friends since.
That's
Nice.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's incredible. And does she design as? I mean, does she? What's the correct term? Build, make, craft.
I would think.
Yeah, I mean, like she was like really big into cosplay. She's kind of like taken a like that kind of thing's taken a back seat for her now because she's actually apprenticing to become a tattoo artist right now. So like free time is
Nice.
just not a thing. So she spends just like all of her time drawing at the moment, pretty much. But she does still like do the occasional shoot and stuff. So photography stuff is also still going, but the cosplay side like not as much anymore.
All right, that's cool. So now once you've got your inspiration, and I'm pretty proud of myself because it sounds like my process is turning out to be correct. So once you're inspired, you design.
Inspired.
And then I want to talk about gathering materials, and I know that this has been a little bit of a sensitive issue, especially during COVID. We were chatting to one of our Mauritian cosplayers, and he was saying that he's really like struggling to get materials in during.
Oh, was that Fred?
Oh, shipping and stuff.
Yeah. We were chatting to Fred, and Fred was saying like there's an issue with getting materials originally with him being like not in a on a continent, be living on an island in Mauritius. He was saying that that's normally a problem, but it's been escalated by the pandemic. How much cosplay building, material gathering have you been doing during the pandemic, Kat? And has it been difficult?
Oh my gosh.
Was that something that was like an unexpected impact of COVID?
Calvin is root archaeology
I'm gonna
about
be
dark
like-
secrets.
I'm gonna be completely honest. Like, the pandemic was like really crazy for me, especially like in the beginning because I had so many life plans that just like changed and things were like just really crazy. So honestly, like I had all this free time, but I couldn't actually like bring myself to work on cosplay. Like it was just a very weird thing where I was just like struggling to like actually bring myself to make things. So I mean, honestly, I haven't been like doing a lot of that. But fortunately, I'm also one of those people who has like so many unfinished projects that I have all these materials for like existing costumes and like half-made costumes that, I mean, it's like a good opportunity to just like go and revisit the things you didn't finish and force yourself to finish them because, you know, it's really getting out of hand and like storage is an issue.
I didn't notice that was a thing, like during lockdown. Like people who normally were busy, like active, like doing something, not necessarily just going out, just like building stuff or doing things. They did nothing during lockdown.
Yeah.
And the people who normally did nothing were the ones being like, oh my god, I need to learn a new skill.
Yeah.
Hashtag learning cooking in lockdown.
Yeah.
Like,
That was
those
pretty funny. But
It's like the dynamic.
it's crazy. It's crazy to think that like a year later, we're still sitting here. It's just it's wild. It's wild. I mean, what the hell?
Yeah,
Happy
I mean, it's
birthday,
been
COVID.
such a roller coaster. Like I was initially supposed to like move to Japan last September.
Whoa.
Damn.
So that was like pretty crazy. Like obviously that didn't happen. And then I kind of like didn't have a job and then I had to look for a job. So like things were like the pandemic wasn't like very kind to me in terms of like life plans and that type of thing. So I think it was also just sort of like dealing with that type of thing where like that kind of caused cosplay to take a bit of a backseat. But kind of like World of Warcraft Shadowlands came out like last year, and then I like started playing that, and I got really inspired to kind of get back into it again, like just after playing it and like the new characters and stuff. So I'm planning some like big builds again,
Nice.
and hopefully I'll be able to like start on those soon. Also, I'm like one of those people that just has like a stockpile of materials. So like all of the stuff that I need, like I've got a lot of it already. And you kind of like build up the stock after like cosplaying for a while as well. And then, you know, you need to the amount of things you actually need to go out and buy is like a lot less than if you were just starting out, for example.
Yeah. But I think I just want to chat to one thing over there, Kat, and I think, you know, like being super meta about it. We're on a Comic-Con Africa platform, and I think we're dealing with a lot of people, and a lot of passionate people are listening. And I think that like it's also okay to let your passion simmer for a while. And I'm not necessarily trying to give you a psychoanalysis. It's just like really sparked up that thought that, you know what, I think as fans, sometimes we think it's like, oh my god, if I don't watch this episode, like, I've let my fandom down, how are the characters going to feel, you know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
And I think that just having that simmer of like, it's okay to chill, you know what, it's let it be on the back burner for a while.
Listen, you're going to get bored eventually. That's the thing that's going to happen.
Yeah.
Like, especially if it's something that's consistent. If it's something like inconsistent, like it's like got a limited period of time that's happening, then you probably won't. But although it's different projects, it's still doing the same thing: the designing, then the gathering, then the building, and then going to the event. Rinse, repeats.
Yeah.
It gets monotonous. I can imagine you want to take a break every now and then. Be like, listen, I'm going to skip on this event.
Yeah.
Don't really feel like making a cosplay for it.
Yeah.
Don't have an inspiration.
I mean, like, look, I don't think it's necessarily that people get bored. It's that burnout is a real thing when it comes to cosplay, because sometimes you're like working really hard to get something done for that con, and you're not sleeping, you're not eating, like all you're doing is working on this costume, and then like after that you kind of don't really want to make anything again for a while, because it's you just have that like cosplay burnout. And then I think for people who kind of like do this as a career as well, where they have things like Patreon where they need to get rewards out every month as well.
Yeah.
Like I think it's also just important to take a break sometimes, even if it is your career, because you got to like take care of yourself first, and a lot of people do forget that. They get like so caught up in what they're doing and the hype that they forget to actually take care of themselves, and just realize that cosplay is not the be all end all of like life, and that taking care of yourself is really important as well.
Yeah.
Take a break, go out, do something fun, grab a beer, just relax, chill.
Well, thanks for that, Kat. That was a nice little sidestep. Actually, that was nice. That was nice.
Sidestep, Calvin. I feel like you forget. You lose yourself sometimes, bro. Like podcast. This is not a structured thing. This is just a chilled conversation. Back to the topic at hand.
well, you see,
enjoy the tangents. Enjoy the forest. Smell the roses.
And that's what we did. It was lovely.
But back on topic.
Back to what we were saying. Kat, you mentioned Con Crunch. And I feel like we could talk about that for a bit. And again, I've been saying this over the last couple podcasts. It's really cool that we can have these conversations, and that we can kind of grow from them. And this is a hard one, and I completely understand if I'm putting you on the spot with this, but would you say that Con Crunch is like the bad apple in the bunch when it comes to cosplay, or is it just something that you sign up for and like, okay, cool, Con Crunch is going to be a thing, let me deal with it?
Con Crunch is a voluntary thing, I feel.
You reckon?
I feel like because Kat said previously, there are people that budget their time and like manage their time out. I feel like Con Crunch, not all the time, but majority of the time, I feel like that's a self-inflicted punishment.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, that is very much kind of like true. I mean, I know that I'm really terrible when it comes to that, but it's also a situation sometimes where, for
something
example,
breaks.
If you have like a con like Comic-Con Africa that's like 3 or 4 days, you kind of feel the pressure to have a different cosplay for each day. And then that's where things also get like a little bit out of hand.
Just a little.
I will say though, like Con Crunch isn't all bad, because I feel like it's a really good motivator. I mean, looking at this past year with the pandemic and not having any cons, I think that also played a big part in why I didn't like make as many costumes or anything like that, because I didn't have a con to motivate me to do that. So, I mean, I won't say it's like all bad. I think sometimes people just don't know when to like cut their losses, or say like, I'll just chill out and like finish that for the next con. And they're just like, no, need to do this, need to finish it like, for the con tomorrow. Like some people just don't know when to give up and let go. And admittedly, I am one of those people sometimes, but I have gotten better with it.
Good job.
Like, I mean, over time, you kind of like realize that it's just not worth it to do things like that, because then you're not really going to enjoy the con, right? And
Yeah.
you kind of gonna resent the costume for making you feel a certain way. But yeah, I've gotten better with it. And I mean, there used to be kind of a bit of a stigma attached to like buying costumes to wear to cons instead of like making your own. It was kind of like frowned upon, like to buy your costumes. But like I've gotten to a point now where if it is, you know, a 3-4 day con, then I'm not going to make something new for all of those days, because it's just like unreasonable.
I also feel like with that statement, don't people sometimes? This is just my personal opinion, because both of us are new to cosplay. I just clearly know more than Calvin for some reason. Don't know why, but I'm also don't know much about the cosplay community. But for me, when I hear that statement, isn't that basically like saying the cosplayers are forgetting about the play part of cosplay? Because exactly... yes, making your cosplay is a part of it, yeah, but what about the play aspect? Maybe those people that buy their costumes are more interested in personifying the character than the gratification of building the cosplay from scratch.
I was just thinking that exact thing with my newly learned reason for play, and I'm not even being facetious. Like I genuinely I was thinking that. Kat, what's your input over there?
Yeah, so I mean, I think it's kind of something that's come along with cosplay becoming more popular and more mainstream, right? Because the fact that it's more mainstream now and that people can make careers out of it and have these huge competitions with huge prizes, it's kind of a situation where, you know, people who spend a lot of time making their costumes and like putting all these details and like research and that type of thing into their costumes, they kind of like don't see other people who kind of buy costumes on like the same level. I don't know that it's necessarily still the case, but I know that that was the case for a while. And that's kind of why there was this stigma attached to board costumes and that type of thing, because everyone sort of felt pressured to make it into a career and to gain like a huge social media following, because it was something that became possible as cosplay entered the mainstream. And I think people are kind of slowly realizing, like now, because it's gotten to a point where it's almost oversaturated, in that there are so many career cosplayers or people trying to make it a career, that I mean, you know, you just need to like chill out and you know, remember the reasons why you started doing this and not put so much pressure on yourself and other people, and just, you know, enjoy the fandom and meet new people and get excited about like all the geeky stuff together.
Yeah.
I feel now there should be an acting portion.
An acting portion?
Like, because we've got construction, we've got sewing, we've got needlework. Was that sewing as well? I can't remember.
I mean, that kind of falls under sewing.
I know there's 4 categories. Like, I think we should have now a 5th one, acting.
Acting.
For those cosplayers that are just like, listen, I was just here to have a good time, not to be berated because I didn't build my shit.
Like, they are kind of like things like, I mean, I mentioned the skit competitions earlier. That's based solely on the skit that people present and not the costume itself. And then there are also a lot of cons that are bringing up like casual cosplay competitions now where people can just like enter, and then they're just based on, you know, their representation of the character and whether they're having fun, as opposed to like the costume itself. And it doesn't matter whether it's bought or whether you made it yourself. It's kind of just judged on the overall impression, which is pretty cool.
Okay,
and
so
I think that's also
kind of
like bringing the fun back into it again.
Yeah, because that's all I've been hearing is like cosplay sounds like such a hectic thing. Like, why would you want to do it now? Like, it sounds so hectic. Like, where's the fun part of cosplay? Like, not gonna lie, because me and my mates at one point we were considering, like let's all go as like the Gote 13. Everyone picks a captain. You choose your bro to be your lieutenant, and then we all go rock up as the Gote 13 from Bleach, and we just like chill like that as a squad.
Yeah.
Now I'm just like, you just get cucked out because you didn't make your Shihakusho from scratch, or you didn't sew that. I could see it's store made. Like, Bruh.
Look, don't get me wrong. Like, like that type of thing has kind of like calmed down a lot. It's not necessarily
Okay.
like that, or it's not necessarily something that you are gonna encounter all the time. It's just like there is like a chance of it, but most of the time, if people kind of like see that you're not necessarily a cosplayer or someone who is doing this all the time, and maybe just someone who wanted to do something for a con or whatever, like. I mean, most of the time people are pretty accommodating and pretty cool about it. And yeah, it's just like obviously with I think any hobby you're gonna have people who, aren't
The elitists,
necessarily
yeah.
like, going to be nice about things and,
Yeah.
and feel the need to turn it into a competition. I think that's
Yeah.
the case with like anything from like board games to I don't know, art to anything really. Yeah, you're always going to have someone who wants to turn it into a competition and feel like they're better than you are.
I like to refer to them as the actually people.
Actually,
Because they are the ones that go like, actually, this is wrong.
Oh my gosh, you say that like I had a friend who used to say that a lot, and then we called this sort of like I guess like alter ego Clarence. Because that just sounded like an appropriate name. Like,
I love it. I love it.
that is now officially an office meme. Thank you so much, Kat. Every time somebody's like,
just like you're being
Calvin,
a
stop being a
Clarence. Like,
Clarence.
stop being a Clarence. Just like,
yeah.
God.
Well, actually,
Clarence.
Kat, you are based in Cape Town, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
Awesome. How would you say that the Cape Town scene, in terms of cosplay, is different to the Joburg scene? Obviously, we as Comic-Con Africa planned on going over there and having a really, really cool event planned. And like we've mentioned, I think we've given COVID more attention than, quite frankly, it deserves at the moment. But obviously, that was postponed. How's the scene different there? Because personally, I feel like Joburg is city vibes. It was like very serious and like suit and tie, whereas like Cape Town's like super chilled.
How much does your costume have to cater to the weather conditions?
I mean, that's just like not even a factor anymore. People just deal with it. They just like pick their costumes. They like wear them. They could be like freezing to death or like dying of heat. Like it's just a thing that happens.
My costume
It's funny
explodes.
that
It
you.
explodes.
It's funny that you said that about like the Joburg and Cape Town people because, the first time I went to a Joburg con, which was like, that was like Icon like many years ago when it was still like this tiny little con in like the Jabula Recreation Hall. It was really tiny, but that was kind of my first sort of like Joburg con experience, and I actually found it the opposite. I found like the Joburg people were like really chill and really nice, and I felt like the Joburg people were kind of like more open to approaching people and like kind of like meeting new people as opposed to Cape Town people who like in my experience kind of like keep to their like designated groups of friends a little bit more as opposed to like meeting new people, if that makes sense. It's really weird, but that's just my personal experience. I mean, I can't speak to everyone's experience, but I mean, I love the people in Joburg so much. Like the friend I spoke about earlier, her name is Chev. Like she was originally based in Joburg.
Yeah,
And I mean, she's in Cape Town now, but she's originally from there. And we just became like really good friends. And I'm still in contact with like a lot of really awesome Joburg cosplayers as well. Yeah, it's really, really strange that you had that kind of like preconceived idea of how it is. But again, just personal experience.
Yeah, I guess I think it's like you see Cape Town and you see like the colourful houses and the really cool buses and like they're actually painting a circle around their potholes when there's an issue, and then in Joburg it's like move it. What if you? That was quite a pleasant surprise. Well,
You're making it sound like New York City. Hey, I'm walking in.
yeah, I'm walking in. It does feel like that sometimes. But Kat, I also want to chat quickly about the connection between cosplay and Japanese culture, because it's and I'm dying to ask, and if I don't ask this, I'm going to regret it. Was your previously planned move to Japan inspired by cosplay or the culture? Was that kind of your introduction into Japanese culture? I mean, you really don't have.
He's basically asking how much a weeb you are, to put it nicely.
Well, I'm not asking you to go too far into your personal life. If it was for personal reasons, completely understandable. But
Oh my gosh, no, I totally don't mind chatting about it. So trying to think of timelines here because the pandemic's like messed up my concept of time now. But I think it was like 2019 that I actually traveled to Japan for the first time, and I just loved it there. Like everything is just like amazing, and like yes, all the weep stuff was a huge draw, and I came back.
No, I'm not. I'm just. I was translating for the normie. Trust me, I'm a huge weeb as well. I also would like to go one day. Where did you actually end up going? Did you go to Kyoto, Tokyo, Nagato, Nagasaki? Where did you end up?
So, well, we had like quite a packed schedule. So we
did you go on a tour?
landed in. No, we just kind of like made our own schedule, but we wanted to see a lot of places. So we kind of like just were in Tokyo for a little bit, and then we went off straight to Osaka after that. So we stayed in Osaka for a little while. We kind of like only went to Kyoto on like day trips and that type of thing. We didn't actually stay there. And then we headed like way up north into like, more like rural Japan to go and stay at a traditional inn there, like
that's awesome.
Like out by like a place called Lake Tazawako in Senboku in Akita Prefecture. So that's like up north. They get like 9 months of snow a year. So we basically just went there for like the hot springs and that type of thing, and it was amazing.
What time of year did you go? Did you get to see sakuras or not really?
We did, yeah. We went during the cherry blossom season, but we went like up north first, and then we came back to Tokyo again for that type of thing. So we did like do the walk along like Meguro River. I'm sure you've seen photos of it. It's that like big river with the lanterns on the sides and just like all the cherry blossoms. So we went to check that out, and like just all of the culture stuff as well was a huge part of it. And I mean, for me, I have a huge interest in like Japanese fashion and that type of thing as well. So it's not kind of just cosplay, but I mean, the cosplay is kind of like a nice bonus type thing. Because if I was going to move over, it was kind of going to be a teaching type deal. So I wouldn't have had a lot of like free time necessarily for cosplay and that type of thing. But it would have been nice. I still want to go to the big Osaka Cosplay Street Festival one day. It usually takes place in March, so maybe like one day when the whole pandemic thing settles down. I'd like love to do that one day. It's kind of on one of my bucket list things. Yeah.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, Japan's actually quieted down with restrictions as far as I'm aware. Because I have a few YouTubers that I watch that live. The weebs that live in Japan currently, and they say COVID restrictions have died down, like they're basically back to normal apparently. So maybe you could go. Who knows?
Holding thumbs for you, Kat. I think that would be super kick-ass. That would be awesome.
I also want to go there. Like I've got like a whole list of places I want to go. But like one of the major ones. I can't remember what the name of the shrine is now. It's the one. Maybe Kat can help me. It's the one where it's
probably.
Yes, with all the torii gates.
Fushiminari.
Dude, I love it. I want to walk that entire staircase up and down.
so like one thing about Fushiminari is like it's best to go really early in the morning so that you can like avoid the crazy crowds. So like we just went like super early, and it was kind of like a cloudy day, and there was like a bit of like drizzle in the morning, so it was like perfect. There weren't a lot of people, but I think we left around like 9 o'clock in the morning, and then that's when the people already like started like coming in. It was like pretty crazy, but it was like really beautiful. And I have like one of those like I have like a random video just of myself like running through the gates in like slow motion, just for the gram, like
did it for the gram. It's like it's a really cool place. It's like it's a shrine in Japan at the top of a mountain. It's got like this massive staircase. You're going to be walking a lot, but what makes it so beautiful is
quite a hike, yeah.
Quite a hike, but along the entirety of each of the staircases is just those giant Japanese gates, those red shrine gates, just all the way. like right next to each other, each gate, just all the way up. So you're going basically through a tunnel of torii gates.
Jeez.
All the pictures I see are so beautiful. I'm just like, I want to go. Yeah. I want to see it in real life.
That sounds
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna say, like, if you could only see like one shrine on your trip to Japan, like that would be the one I would pick. Yeah.
Yeah, no, me and my sister, we want to do like a full thing because she wants to go see Hiroshima because she's interested in like the history of Hiroshima and stuff like that. And then like I want to go to Tokyo because I want to go to Akihabara. I am that weeb.
Yeah.
But I also want to go.
I mean, it's so overwhelming though. Like especially if you're a weeb, like you go there and you don't know what to do because there's just so much stuff.
So much.
Like.
Wait, what?
I mean, if you think that you're going to see it all in one day or that it's going to be like a one-day thing, you are wrong.
Sorely mistaken. I've already told my sister I need at least 2 days for that one place alone. So in Japan, Tokyo's the main city in Japan.
Yeah.
In one of the Akihabara is a prefecture. No, it's
it's just like an area. I guess
it's an area within a prefecture in Tokyo.
Within Tokyo.
So this area is literally just wall-to-wall weeb stores.
Oh, really?
Anime, as far as the eye can see, it's literally every anime fan's wet dream. Yeah. Like, you get there, like Kat said, you won't know what the hell to do because every store is anime. You don't know where to start.
That is so cool.
So I literally told my sister, all I need is 50,000 yen in 2 days.
And then we're good.
That's all I need.
50,000 yen. If you think you're going to be spending as little as 50,000
I know,
yen, again, you're sorely mistaken.
Hey, listen, 50,000 yen, because I still got the rest of freaking Japan to see. I can't waste all my money in Akihabara, but you know what? I'll do my best.
Just a quick side note, though. A lot of people talk about like Akihabara a lot, but there's another place in Osaka called Denden Town, which is kind of like Akihabara on like a smaller scale. And if you are like quite a serious figurine collector, that's a really amazing place to go if you are looking for like certain figures that you can't find anymore, that type of thing, because you find a lot of like really cool secondhand stuff there. So you have like these figurine shops with all these glass cabinets just like filled with figurines, and people actually like rent these cabinets to like sell their things. Okay. And because in Japan, like everyone just takes really good care of their stuff, it's like practically new, you know, and it's amazing. Like, yeah, so Denden Town's really awesome if you're looking for something specific, or you want to like, if you're a serious like figurine collector. Yeah, like it's also just easier to find stuff because it is a bit smaller.
Beautiful. Mental note made.
Captain, one of the last things that I want to chat to you about, and you said that earlier you did this thing for the gram, right? Now,
did it for the gram.
I want to talk to you because I must compliment you on the way that you've laid out your Instagram. It looks super sick, and I think that that's such a cool part about cosplay. Robbie, what you saw with Kat's Instagram is it's like 3 photos of the same character.
Yeah, I was just about to say I did respect the fact that it was 3x3s of just one character at a time.
It looks sick, Kat. You got it. You got it. Yeah, baby, she's got it.
The gram on lock.
Yeah.
Kat got the gram on lock.
Yeah. So without telling me too many of your secrets, because I could imagine that, I mean, it's like your portfolio, right?
Basically.
What would you kind of advise for now? Calvin wants to cosplay, right? What is the advice for the gram?
He wants to spice.
Oh my gosh, it's so tricky at the moment now because like the algorithms kind of just like become so trash that like no one's gonna see your stuff really. So like my advice would probably be just to move over to TikTok because that's apparently where everyone's getting the views and the, you know, like the recognition is kind of on there. Like Instagram's kind of on its way out now because the algorithm's just gotten so bad to the point that like even people who follow you aren't seeing your stuff in their feed anymore, and it's just gotten like so bad. Yeah, so like a lot of people have kind of migrated to TikTok now. I mean, I'm still figuring that out because I mean I feel like I'm really awkward when it comes to videos and that type of thing. I mean, the static images are like I'm comfortable with that. But like as soon as it gets to like the little videos and the viral dances and that type
Yeah.
of thing,
God,
like
so cringe.
I start feeling a little bit uncomfortable. But I mean, like one day I'm sure I'll figure it out. I mean, I kind of just update my Instagram now, like whenever I feel like it, because there's sort of like no pressure anymore. Which I mean, it's I guess it's nice in a sense, but also I mean, you're not really gonna reach a lot of new people anymore, which is unfortunate.
Which is wild. I mean, you just get the whole photo thing right, and then they're like, "All right, we're done with that. Let's move on to video." So I support you, Kat. You're gonna kick some ass. I think that's all from my side. But at the end of every podcast, Kat, I go around and I ask anybody if there's something that they would like to add. This is really, really open up to you. Whether you are, I don't know, supporting a charity and you want us to drop the link in the description, you can pop that there. Whether you want us to tell you on socials, whether you want to, I don't know, scream something crazy, you're more than welcome to. I'll go, while you think about it, Kat, I'll go to you, Robbie. Is there...
I'm sorry, excuse me, you're putting me on the spot now.
You've done a couple of these. Shit, we must be nice to our guests.
Why don't you do it to yourself?
We must be nice to our guests. Robbie, is there anything that you would like to add?
Not really, because I don't know much about cosplay either. I just got a great conversation about Japan in here somehow.
Yeah.
I was here more than anything to be the distraction away from the topic at hand.
No, man. We still learned about cosplay, Robbie.
We did, but no, please, anyone listening on Spotify or Apple Music or on YouTube watching this, please take mental note. All the distractions.
No,
Yours truly.
Sorry, Robbie. Kat, is there anything that you'd like to add?
I mean, like when you said like when you mentioned charity stuff, I don't know if you guys are aware of like the crazy fire that's like hit Cape Town recently.
Yes.
Yeah, that's like been pretty insane. I'm actually like pretty close to that. Like on Sunday, I was basically choking on smoke and like dealing with ash in the garden the whole day. Like it was like pretty crazy. And I know like things are like pretty hectic with that at the moment. So I mean, if anyone out there is like willing to help donate to help out the firefighters or the people who've had to evacuate or that type of thing, I mean that's really awesome. I think there's I mean like on Instagram usually there are like a few pages that give out info on that type of thing. I mean, I try and repost stuff when I can, but also there's a page called UCT Just Kidding. It's actually like originally like a meme page, but they've also been sharing like really good info about like how to help people affected by the fire and that type of thing. So that's just something current that I wanted to bring up. And then, I mean, you gotta do like a little bit of shameless self-plugging as well. So
Plug it, plug it.
if anyone's like looking for me on Instagram, it's just cat like CAT _ Kirameki, which is KIRAMEKI. So that's where you can find me on Instagram. I have the same name on TikTok, but my TikTok's like a bit dead at the moment because I'm still kind of trying to get comfortable with it and like figure it out a little bit. But I mean, it is there. I will post videos again at some point. Hopefully, maybe. We'll see.
Sometime, who knows?
Well, don't worry, Kat.
Pressure me.
You can find the links to Kat's Instagram and her TikTok in the description
Below. For YouTube, can we do that on Apple and Spotify?
Indeed, we can.
Greatness.
All right, then the one thing that I would like to add is thank you, Kat. I have had very short glimpses into the cosplay industry. I've been very much a bystander for a very long time. In 2018 and 2019, I was actually a volunteer for Comic-Con. So I kind of had it in passing, which was really, really cool. And it was like the first time that I was seeing it on such a big scale. And holy crap, there's a whole stage dedicated to it. Like, that was crazy. So it's been coming at me in like big bunches. And then during lockdown, when we had just started with our quizzes, we had a cosplay quiz, and I was the host of that. And like the community was like really, really cool. And now chatting to you, this is probably my third, let's call it official interaction with cosplay. So I said it once, I've said it again, I said it on the cosplay quiz stream. It seems to be a very welcoming community, and it seems to be a community that is willing to listen and teach. So thank you for your time, Kat. Really, really appreciate it. Thank you for being so flippin' passionate, and thank you for everything. It's been.
Thanks for going along with the tangents.
Thanks for going along with the tangents.
You've made this a
thank you
podcast
for
now.
having me. I'm also one of those people who tends to kind of like veer off topic sometimes. Just
It's more
when
fun that
when
way.
I want to talk about random things. So I
More
mean,
fun.
Love it, love it, love it. Well, Kat, really, really appreciate it. I don't even want to hang up. This has been so cool. Thank you for your time.
I mean, we can do it again another time. You know, like just have like
100%.
have one just about like Japan and Japanese culture next time. And
Do it. I'm there. I'm there.
and that fun like weeb culture, and then Robbie can just like Robbie and I can just chat anime the whole time, and that would
Hell
be
yes. I am lonely here at Comic-Con. I have no anime friends around here. Well, I got two, but they're like casuals.
Yeah. We actually had an episode last week, the previous episode of Concast, where we spoke about some anime controversies.
Oh yes, yeah, we
Which,
did that. Yeah.
I mean, if you're watching, want to go check that out, you're more than welcome to. There is a playlist which will be available in the description or on our channel or something.
And anyone listening, we also launched our official anime manga otaku show.
Yes, that was
So we also launched that. So yeah, go check it out. Don't forget to like and subscribe on YouTube, as well as rate us here on Apple Music.
Apple Music and Spotify. If you
Both have a rate
kindly
system.
rate and review us.
Oh, and review. Please do. Give me that 5-star, please.
Yeah.
You can also hit that notification bell on YouTube
Yes.
to, get, to be notified of the new videos.
Yes.
You are a natural.
You can tell she does socials quite often.
Yes.
And with that, we bid thee all adieu.
Awesome. Goodbye.
Bye.